Everyone, it's me, Elaine. You can find me on Instagram as Elaine Tom. You can find me on Ravelry as Elaine Max Seb. You can find me on Facebook, and you can find my Etsy shop, Nubby Wool Studio, on Etsy. And I think that's basically it. You can find me everywhere. So here I am. I'm not quite sure which number podcast this is, but I'm sorry they always remain so erratic. I have a lot of finished objects, so I figured I should show them before I store them all away, and they're starting to pile up. So I have quite a mess all around me, as you can see. I always have a lot of yarn and whips everywhere. So let's go back some, and I will show you the ones that have been released. Let's see. This one is my Esther from Camilla Vod, and this is mostly using Camarose, and that's the dark gray and the greenish gray. And then there's the Galler Yarns Alpaca, and this copper highlight is Nubby Wool Studio, and that's a Wensleydale. So this is from Camilla Vod and was released, I think, about a month ago, the Esther T. And I really love it. And sorry that I shook the camera. And then I also have this, which is Tiberius. And that is from Isabel Kramer. And the dark gray is Jameson's of Shetland, I believe, in the Oxford color. And then the blue is Nubby Wool Studio. It's a lace, a heavier lace, and I think it's called Summer Seas. And the red is also Nubby Wool Studio, and that was just a yarn I dyed for myself. And yeah, love this design. The modification I made was I did different hem colors. But that is Tiberius, and that was released, I think, a couple of weeks ago from Isabel Kramer. And I really, really loved making it, and it turned out exactly the way I wanted. And then this is Sanagu, and this is from Hand Knit Life, and this is all Nubby Wool Studio, and the main is called Bricks, and this green is a green I dyed for my plum a while back. I had just enough left to do all the color work here. The color, I don't know if you can see it well, but that was released, I think it was beginning of October. So that's that. And then I have High Lonesome, Caitlin Hunter, and the yarns are all Rosa Pomar Retrosaria. So the main is Brusca, and the gray is Mungo, which is a recycled cotton wool blend. And that was really fun to knit also, and it went fast. Caitlin Hunter, Boylan Knitworks. Then this, I won't really show, is Inflorescence from Nuts Knitwear on Instagram, and Teti is the name of the designer. I will not show it because it's not released yet. I think it will be releasing soon. And so the main is Blacker Yarns, their new birthday yarn for this year, and that's Cove in the natural color. I'm not sure if it's called Oatmeal. And then the reddish brown color is Nubby Wool Studio. And this is the same color I used on my Mackworth. So the floats are sometimes on the outside, creating this beautiful texture, and the fingering weight yarn can be held single or double. It's your choice, and the pattern tells you where you would hold a single and where you would hold a double. I held a double throughout, so mine looks a little heavier than the original design, perhaps. Then I did the test knit for the new Knit with Attitude book, their anniversary book, and I did the design from Ellie of Skein-Deer Knits, and the book should be out soon, so you'll get to see my version soon. I was really, really happy. The minute I saw the design, I knew I had to make it, so it's with very heavy yarn. I originally started with one of my own hand dyeds, but I couldn't get the gauge. The gauge is, I think, 12 stitches per 10 centimeters. So this I use Let Lopi, and there's several steeks involved, and I just love steeking. It's really, really fun. So once you get over the fear, it becomes sort of an addiction. And then I recently finished my mitts. I think they're going to be called Christina mitts, and from Kasha, I believe. And that I'm not sure when they'll be released, but these were fast and fun, and they were using Pearl Soho good wool. The yarn was provided for us for this test knit, but mine still has not arrived. But I have a huge, I had a lot of good wool. It's something I really, really enjoy using, and so I had enough in my stash to make the mitts before my yarn arrived, and I hope it arrives soon. But shipping has been sort of erratic here with COVID, anything from the United States at least. So then I also have, I'm sorry if I'm going really, really fast, I also have my test knit for Couvive, the Brogna pullover, and the main wool is from Old Stash, and this is O wool, and then I used Plutalopi and my hand-dyed honey as the contrasts. So these stripes of color are fun to do, and they're fast, and yeah, I'm getting close to the end. Sleeve Island. It's and I do admit that I procrastinate when it comes to sleeves, and I try to come up with all other kinds of things to do. And then I also have I'm not sure what the pattern will be named, if the floral blouse is going to be the final name. This is another test knit for Teti of Nuts Knitswear, and this is using chunky mohair. So these are both mine, not Wool Studio, and you will have seen this purplish color. I believe I did one of Thea Coleman's sweaters, mixing Little Gray Sheep with my chunky mohair for the color work, and I also used this purple as a highlight in my veer that I did. I tested towards the beginning of the year. You can find all that on my Ravelry projects page. And then I'm also working on a test knit for Caitlin Hunter, Boylan Knitworks, and this I think is called right now Caribou Hills, but I'm not sure if that's the final name. And so I basically use a whole bunch of different things. So the main, I had some leftover of the Cove from Blacker Yarns, so that's my main color for now. And then I use the Plutalopi, and then I use several lace things held doubles. So the this yellowish color is it has tints of purple and yellow and pinks, I believe, and I held it with a pale yellow mohair, and there's bobbles. And then the blue is the Summer Seas again, and then this purple I used for something recently also. is lace, but I'm holding it triple because it's very, very fine lace to get it to be a fingering weight. And that's coming along, and I'm happy with how that is looking. I have lots of yarn, and holding yarn triple is sort of crazy because it creates a lot of tangles, and I'm one of those people that cannot cut yarn. I need to untangle and save every drop if possible. So those are, oh no, I have one more whip here that I can show at least. This is my Grinalda, I believe, and this is a new design coming from Rosa Pomar, and I'm using Vovo from Retrosaria as the main color, and it's this purplish color. I'm down to my last bits on this hank, and then I'm holding it double with my mohair Nabi Wool Studio, this bluish color, and it's really creating a very interesting color, and the fuzziness and the softness is really, really great. And then I cannot wait to the part where I get to embroider flowers onto the yoke, which I'll probably do before I finish the sweater, just so I can get an idea of what embroidering the flowers are like, and maybe how much of it I want to do. I think it's purely up to the knitter. I don't know if I'll have to look if she's told you how much or where to place them. So that's that. I think that's it. So, and I got some great books recently in the mail. I received my Shetland Wool Week, and it has all these beautiful designs in it, and want to make every single one. And I'm sad that Shetland Wool Week did not happen, and I wish we return to a normal world soon and all these festivals can happen again. I also got the new book from Verb for keeping warm, the natural journeys in natural dyeing. And I'm not a big natural dyer, but I have tried it, and I think a lot of the colors that come out of natural dyeing are also beautiful, and I might do some more experimentation when I have time to do that. But time is not something I have much of. I think that's the major books that I've received recently. So I do have a lot of whips going and a lot of tests going, and I'm not quite sure how I'm actually going to get them all done, but I will try my hardest. There's several stacks of yarn below me that are ready for starting other tests that I have, and I don't know if I showed this last. I probably did. It hasn't gone anywhere, but this is my flower shawl also that I have not had a chance to really work on, from Amy Christopher's Savory Knitting, and that's using used wool and my hand dyed. Yeah, that's I think what I can show right now as far as knitting goes. I think that was a lot, but today we'll find out here what the next steps are with this whole COVID thing. I'm hoping that we're not going into a total lockdown. I doubt we will. I'm concerned about what will happen with schools, and if we go back to homeschooling, or kids are going to be required to wear masks, which will make school a little bit more stressful for my kids. But yeah, I really had no clue that this would go on for so long and how life would be affected so much. And I'm hoping everyone is staying safe and adapting to our new normal, which I guess is sort of constantly changing. But I know that we're all getting a little tired of the things that are happening at the moment. But knitting is a great thing to have to deal with, I guess, maybe if you have more time on your hands, which I actually have less of, and for easing the nerves a bit. And learning a new skill, any skill, one of my kids' phones, any skill is a great thing, and helps us adapt through certain things. I also wanted to show my book that I'm reading from David Chang, Eat a Peach, and I was really excited about this book coming out when it was first announced, and I couldn't wait to read it, so I tried to order it, but then the place that I ordered from said that it was no longer available, and then finally it came back and was available again, and so I ordered it, and luckily I had finished Ordinary People from Diana Evans shortly after I received the book, so I didn't have to wait too long to read it. I don't know if you come here for book reviews, but Ordinary People was really, really good, also from Diana Evans. I really got into the story. A lot of the emotions were things that I think are very relatable, and it was very interesting to read. And now with David Chang's book, it's quite different, and his voice really comes through with the story or his memoir. And I don't know, I think that if you know anything about David, you really feel like he's telling you this story, and things about him that I really didn't know. I watch all of his shows. I think he's really funny and all this stuff, and it all comes through, and there's another side to him also that I didn't know about, and it's interesting to read. So I highly recommend both of those books if you're looking for something new to read. And there's lots of patterns coming out, because obviously Rhinebeck, what would have been Rhinebeck, has passed, and there were a lot of new releases for that. And then now that it's sweater weather in the northern hemisphere, there's just loads and loads of patterns coming out for that. I'm working on quite a few interesting things that will be coming out towards the end of the year, and there hopefully will be more interesting news coming from me for something happening in December. I cannot talk about it quite yet, but look to hear more interesting stuff from me. And also, unfortunately, I couldn't show, I did the Bubbles and Brioche from Stephen West, but Stephen has the one that I knit. I made his sample for him, and so that just got released yesterday, Tuesday. I'm not sure when you guys are watching this, but Tuesday on the 27th. And the original blue version from Undercover Otter was the one that I sample knit for him. So it was really nice to see that. And I can tell you it's loads of fun to knit. Not any one section is too long, and even if the section is longer, you're constantly switching colors. So I think it's also a great stash buster if you're interested in doing that. And the bubble stitch is fun, and brioche is loads of fun. And I'm not, I knew how to brioche before knitting the shawl, but I had not done it in a while, and it was quite easy to pick it all up again. So it's not difficult brioche, and I think it's also a good project to take on if you have just learned brioche or want to learn brioche. It's a short enough section that won't be too taxing. So I highly recommend that from Stephen, and seems like he's putting out a lot of really fun things to knit, so I look forward to seeing more from him. And I'm not sure what else there is to talk about here in my pile of mess. I hope that you got all the names of all the projects I made and all the yarns I used, and you guys are all taking good care of yourself and staying safe. Talk soon.